Hey, it's LSFT here today, and today we're here to look at the 2022 car sales for Toyota and other manufacturers and see is this chip shortage ending anytime soon. So right now I'm at Automotive News, and it says that first thing is GM, congratulations, reclaims the US sales crown. Toyota edges up, Stellantis, Honda, and Nissan are still struggling. So let's scroll down a little bit here and see what it means here. So you can see here in the fourth quarter, GM actually sold 618,000 units compared to 436,000 units last year, so up 41%. And at the 12 months, it actually gone up about 50,000 units compared to 2021. So it's obvious that Toyota has sold less because they've only sold 50,000 units more between the 2 years. Now we look at Honda. Honda is really struggling. It's gone better in this quarter. It's 255,000 compared to 287,000 in 2021. That's down 11%. Acura is down 9.2%. But when you look at the whole year of 2022, they did not sell over 1 million cars. Compared to 2021 is 1.4 million. So they're still down 32.9% in the whole year. Now we look at Hyundai Kia. Genesis going up 1.5% in the last quarter and going up 13.7% in the whole year, which is quite good. Then when you look at Hyundai and Kia, they're down about 1%. So overall, when you look at the last quarter for Hyundai Kia, 386,000, so they're selling 23% more in the last quarter. And in the year, they're only down 1%, which is not a lot. Then we look at Mazda. Mazda has actually gone back up to 33.5% in fourth quarter, and that's 79,000 compared to 59,000 the year before. But overall in the year, they're still down 11.4%, and that's 332 versus 294 this year. And when you look at Mitsubishi, small manufacturer, 20,000 units this year versus 24 in the quarter of this year. So that's down 16.5%. And when you look at from year over year, it's still down 16%. Nissan, on the other hand, has the same fate of Honda. You can see that they're actually recovering better now. They're down 3.7%, and the Infinity has gone up 24%. But when you look at the whole year, they're down 20% for Infinity, and for the whole Nissan Mitsubishi, they're down 24%. And they're selling under 1 million cars again, too, for this year. Polestar, they've sold 2,100, and that's up 189%. And overall, the whole year, 8,400 versus 2,900. So, again, as a new manufacturer, I would say they're starting to get some movement. So now we look at Stellantis. 349,000 the last quarter versus 413,000, which is not too bad. And when you look at the year over year, they're down about 200,000, down 12.9%. Fiat is probably one of their biggest hurting brand, selling not a lot in the whole year, but overall, they're not too bad in today's times. Subaru, on the other hand, has gone up in the last quarter, up 28.5%, and the year over year, they're only down less than 5%, which is not too bad for this time. Now we look at Toyota and Lexus. So Lexus has gone down 8.5% in the last quarter, whereas Toyota is actually up 16.6%. So overall, last quarter, they're up 13.1. So the Toyota has offset the Lexus decrease, but then when you look at year over year, they're down about 10%. And that's where they lost the US sales crown to GM because of this 10%. Now looking at the Volkswagen Group, in the last quarter, 55,000 versus 34, so they've done quite well, 60% higher. And from a year over year, they're still down 4.5%. So overall, we're starting to see some recovery in the last quarter, but because how it hurt in the last 3 other quarters, manufacturers are still not being able to recover. Okay, so we're just going to scroll down here and continue to see what else they have here. So when you look at the month of December, Lexus, usually the best month is December, and they're still down 16%, which is quite bad. But Toyota is covering 6.6 increase, so that is about 3.5% increase from 2021 to 2022. And then we've talked about the year over year already, so we don't need to look at that. But when you look at Mazda, 40% better, Hyundai 32% better, Honda is still suffering. But overall, when you look at this month of December, things are starting to recover a bit, but it's still not to where we would want it to be. So let's continue to scroll down and see what else we have here. So they're saying that the US light vehicle sales in 2022 has actually dropped to 11-year low. So when you look at it, 2022, if we go down all the way, this is the third quarter, up to the third quarter, 2021 sold 11 million cars. So this is actually one of the years that it's the lowest of the last 11 years. So it does paint a picture of how bad the situation is. Let's continue to scroll down. Okay, so incentives. Looking at the fourth quarter incentives. So looking here, Toyota's incentives is $640 comparing to year before's $2,718 of incentives. And when you compare to the third quarter is $745. So looking at the industry, many of the manufacturers are not really giving incentives at all. They're reduced a lot of the incentives and they're really giving very little incentives. So that's why a lot of the vehicles that you're buying, if you're paying at MSRP, it's already a bonus. So let's go down, and now they're looking at the average transaction price. So you can see the car price of cars have gone up significantly. You look at BMW, it's up 16%. Daimler Chrysler is up 21%. Ford vehicles have gone up 23%. GM's at 19.5%. Honda is 21%. Hyundai's 18.3%. Kia's 22.8%. Nissan 28.8%. Stellantis 25.8%. Subaru 15.7%. Toyota at 14.8%. Volkswagen at 22.5%. And having the industry is 17.8% increase. So the average transaction in the fourth quarter is $45,239, and this is US dollars. So cars are really getting more and more expensive nowadays. So now switching over to the Lexus newsroom, and now it actually shows that Toyota Motor North America reports the year-end 2022 sales results. So let's have a look here. It shows a very nice Copper Crest RX here, and it says the total electrified vehicle sales, battery, hybrid, plug-in, and fuel cells are making up nearly 1/4 of the total sales volume. Okay, there's 20 electrified vehicle options available now, and it's actually most among any manufacturers with showrooms throughout 2023. Toyota is projected to be the #1 retail brand for the 11th consecutive year. And they're saying that the Toyota Camry, Highlander, RAV4, Sienna, Tacoma, and the Lexus NX are projected to be the best-selling models in their respective segments. Okay, so we already know that the sales for the year over year. So I'm just going to skip over that and see what they have to say here. Let's just talk about the investments. The Toyota division electrified has sold 24.3%. Corolla being the #1 compact car in America. Camry is #1 passenger car for the 21st consecutive year. RAV4 is the best-selling SUV. Okay, so Lexus here. So they're saying that their electrified vehicles is 21.3% at 55,000 vehicles. The car division is up 1.5%. The electrified vehicles are up 22.3%. Okay. So best selling year, okay. Well, it's the first year really having the NX plugin, so definitely is the first best ever year. So we now go into the breakdown. So just gonna have some highlights here. The Supra's gone down. The Mirai is actually up 982% of the current month. GR86 also. The RC has actually gone up in December, and the rest is just probably normal. Okay, the Tundra's up 166%, and the NX is up 300%. UX is down. The RX is probably where it hurts a lot. So it looks like we have the same trend as last month, where the RX is not selling. I think it's probably the new model is not being produced fast enough to actually meet the sales numbers that they typically see, GX and all that. So the truck division is down 22%, which is quite significant. All right, so I pulled information from these charts below, and I'm really focusing on Lexus at this point. You can see right now that the car division has sold 5,925 vehicles, where the ES is still selling the most. And when you look at the truck division, 14,183, where the NX is now the crown with 30% of the sales. It's quite unfortunate because if you look at previous months of the RX, previous years, the RX sells 10,000, which almost covers this full amount. So definitely something that's not right with the RX. So when you look at it, the total sales for the December is 20,108, which is again not high, I would say. So then what I did was I also looked at the numbers and broke down the models for the NX, because I think most of you are interested in the NX. So when you see here in December, they sold 6,088 NXs, and in the chart below it actually sold 258 of the NX plugins, 2005 of the hybrids, and the rest are the engine only options. So when you look at the breakdown of percentage, the engine gas only versions cover 63%. The hybrid covers 33%, whereas the plug-in is only 4%. And when you look at the full year, you can see that the breakdown for the gas only versions is about 64.5%. The hybrid is 28.3 and the plug-in is 7.2. So the electrified versions will cover roughly 35.5%, which is not too bad if you look at the electrified options that are there. But definitely, I know a lot of people who are waiting for the plug-in hybrid have an extreme long wait list, and really hope that this split will change. The split, either the 250 and the 350 will be reduced to like 50 or even 40%, and having more of the 350h and the 450h plus being made. It is what it is. I do not know how Lexus plans their how do they make the vehicles, but I definitely maybe sourcing battery and chips are the concern. So now we switch over to the Lexus sales report that I have, that I've broken down by unit. So we can have a look at every single model. So you can see that the UX, overall, the full year, it's the lowest in the past 4 years. It's sold 10,000 units. Even last month, it's actually gone down compared to previous months. The NX, when you look at it, has, well, if you look at the new model year, 1,516, now they're at 6,000. That's a great increase. But unfortunately, the beginning of the year, we've been seeing low volume, and that's why we're seeing a lower volume year. And it's still the lowest of the 4 years. And the RX. This is where I think it hurts Lexus a lot. If you look at here, November, December, they're only selling 3,700 units. And that's where I was hoping that they would have actually gone up over 100,000. But unfortunately, there were about 3,900 units short. We're hoping that if you look at the trend of the NX, it will take some time before the RX will actually get back to their normal rates. Hopefully, let's see what happens in 2023 January this month and see if the numbers will come back because the new models are now being produced quicker. And now if you look at the GX is actually not too bad. Last year was actually the highest, and this year with the chip shortages, it seems to still be number 2 of the 4-year trend. The new LX seems to still be lower than the past 2 years, but it's better than the 2021 when it was the brand new model year. So looking at this, I think the LX would still be a still low volume, but it's getting close to where it could actually be produced. Now switching over to the IS. So the IS last year was the better year of the 4 years, and this year it actually maintained it, which is a good thing. The ES, it's actually the lowest of the 4 years, but it's not that much lower. So I think the ES is still selling well, but I think it's almost time for a refresh soon. The LS of the 4 years, it's gone down, but the 2023 model now has a new Lexus interface, and let's see how that actually will come upon. LC, I think this is best as it can get with today's trends, because if you look at it, it actually is number 2 of the 4 years. Like in 2019, 2020, it's 1,200 roughly. They sold more than those 2 years, but not as good as last year. And now when you look at the RC, it's the worst of the 4 years, which is unfortunate too. But again, is it ready for the next refresh? Probably. So we go and look at the whole total. It is the worst year of the 4 for Lexus. And when you look at it, Lexus has actually dropped. So in January 2022, it sold more than the previous year, but the next 11 months, they have not beaten the records of the previous year, which is quite unfortunate. All right, so now I actually have the full trend for the NX, and since it actually started, and when you look at a full year of the NX in the 2015, it sold 43,000 units. And now, as a full year of the new 2022 model, it sold 49,000 units, which is more than previous generations. So I'm hoping that if chip shortages are starting to get a better trend, I know that the demand's there. So hopefully that the numbers that we're going to see will start getting better. But again, with high interest rates, people may be bailing out on their pre-orders, and maybe whoever is willing to purchase the vehicle even with high interest rates, or you're paying by cash, maybe it's time to see if there's any other options out there and you can actually pick an NX up much sooner. So to summarize, 2022 is not a good year for Lexus. It seems to be okay for Toyota, but they still had numbers that are negative, and when you look at the year over year. But you can see that the trend for the month of December is actually gone better. But for Lexus, the 11th month out of the 12 months of 2022, they actually did not outsell the previous year. This is not a good sign. And when you're also waiting for a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid, it seems to be harder to get, because for some reason they're still producing a lot of 250s and 350s. They've actually already delayed the launch of the RX plug-in hybrid because they need to play catch up on getting batteries. But definitely they would probably want to sell more hybrids over the plug-in hybrids, because selling one plug-in hybrid, they can use the same batteries and actually make 10 hybrids. And when you look at the emissions that you're reducing, selling 10 hybrids is probably better than selling one plug-in hybrid. So let's see what 2023 has for us, and hopefully you will start seeing Lexus selling more than the last 12 months. And they set the bar lower now. Hopefully they'll in 2023 be able to raise that bar and be able to sell more than 2022 and even 2021, because I think the new products are much better than the previous ones, but unfortunately we're at times where chips are hard to get, and these cars are actually using more chips. So that's why it's getting harder and harder to get these vehicles.
Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please comment, like, and share this video. If you'd like to see more videos like this, you can subscribe to my channel and press that alert button to get notified when new videos are posted. If you'd like to support the channel, you can definitely provide a super thanks. I'll see you guys again next time in the next video.